We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Monday, May 11th here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Melissa.
Happy Monday!
Happy Monday, also Fabulous with us.
Super happy to be here.
Happy to have you, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we're at the start of a brand new work week, and what better way to kick things off than by talking about one place many of us stop by almost every day, cafes. So whether it's grabbing a quick cup of coffee before work or simply taking a break from a busy day, cafes have become a huge part of our daily routines and also lifestyles. So Fabio, to start us off, do you visit cafes often? What do you usually go there for?
Well, look, I love doing lots of different types of activities with my friends and being very active. But one of the things that I enjoy the most is having a comfortable conversation at a nice place. And I think that's where cafes really stand out. And here in South Korea, we have a very strong cafe culture. So I really enjoy going to different places that have nice aesthetics. And I usually go for very wide and big cafes. Now, I have to admit that I'm not the biggest fan of drinks like coffee. But if they have a banana milkshake, I always go for it.
Oh, that's your go-to drink?
Definitely. And then at the same time, I'm also not really a dessert fan. But overall, just having that space to be peaceful with my friends is the best thing ever.
How is Spain's cafe culture similar or different from Korea's?
I guess you find also trendy cafes in Spain. Some of them have this very hipster vibe.
Right.
But I think comfort usually comes with the cost of, getting more customers. So instead of being comfortable and wide and nice, they tend to be a little bit narrow and
just smaller in size?
Smaller in size and
see.
sometimes even pricier because the competition is not that big, which we will talk about later.
I see. So what about you, Melissa?
For me, cafes are basically my second office on work from home days. I feel like the white noise and the smell of beans actually boost my productivity and prevent me from falling asleep while at work. But on the weekends, it's a whole different story. We have this saying in Korea, there's always a separate stomach for dessert, right? I'm definitely that person. When I meet friends, I tend to pick the cafes first based on their signature sweets, and then find a restaurant nearby. Plus, with trends changing so quickly, I love to visit the latest hotspots that I see on Instagram.
Right, and that really shows how cafes in Korea have really become an essential part of both our work routines and also our leisure lifestyles. And that's why we're going to talk more about this, but first, let's take a look at the screen. From music and films to food and fashion, it seems like everything Korean is going global, and now even cafes are capturing worldwide attention. On social media, videos posted by visitors to Korea showcasing unique cafes, beautifully crafted drinks, and trendy desserts are racking up millions of views. Today on News Generation, we take a closer look at how Korea's cafe culture evolved into what it is today, what makes Korean-style cafes so appealing to people around the world, and how cafes here are continuing to reinvent themselves with even more creative and diverse concepts. Just as we saw in the video, cafes in Korea have become much more than places to grab a cup of coffee. They've evolved into lifestyle spaces that reflect trends, culture, and even people's daily routines. So let's dive closer into Korea's cafe culture and how it became so massive. So how did it, Fabio, grow so rapidly?
Well, according to data from Statistics Korea conducted at the end of 2022, as we can see on the screen, the number of coffee shops in Korea is actually around 2 times higher than the number of stores for the top 4 major convenience store chains combined. So we're talking about at least 100,000 coffee shops nationwide, which is an astonishing number considering that in Korea, you can pretty much find a convenience store in every single corner. But this cafe culture growth, it just goes beyond the number of coffee shops. Consumption per capita, as we can see on the screen, also shows very high numbers. According to a 2023 study by Euromonitor, while the Asia-Pacific average consumption rate is around 57 cups per year per person, for for South Korea is 116 cups annually per person. So that is a lot of coffee, to be honest. As a result, only low-cost coffee companies that offer great value for lower prices, or maybe coffee shops that offer a more luxurious type of service, are able to survive in this extremely saturated and competitive business. And I think some of the main reasons why Korean coffee shops are becoming so trendy and are on the rise is because this rapid growth is directly connected to the 빨리빨리 문화, the 빨리빨리 culture that we have here in South Korea, which is very fast-paced and focused on instant gratification. There's also a very strong sensitivity to trends and overall a growing need for comfortable spaces beyond one's own home or one's own office.
So cafes here really are part of everyday life now, and the competition sounds incredibly intense as well as a result. And interestingly, that popular is no longer limited to locals. So how are Korean cafes becoming really popular with foreigners as well, Melissa?
Yes, definitely. In areas like Seongsu-dong, which is basically the Brooklyn of Seoul, tourists now account for over 40% of total sales. It's becoming a must-visit destination. And this K-cafe wave is rapidly crossing borders. Korean low-cost coffee franchises are expanding like crazy to Mongolia, Southeast Asia, and even North America. We even saw a local boutique brand open its first store in the heart of Paris recently. Oh, and here's a fun fact for the believers out there.
Oh.
Justin and Hailey Bieber were spotted frequently at a cafe in LA last year, which turned out to be a Korean-owned spot.
No way.
Yeah. Also, what really boosted my Korean pride was when I found out that half of the finalists at the 2024 US Barista Championship were Korean.
Oh,
Korean
really?
baristas are really killing it out there on the global stage.
And these data really show how Korean coffee culture itself is really becoming a global trend. And beyond the coffee itself, many people say Korean cafes offer a very different kind of experience. So what makes them so appealing globally, Fabio?
Well, we are seeing Korean cafes becoming a very soft power in the Korean wave overall. And I think to really figure out the reason, we need to compare it with the coffee culture in other countries. Now, as you asked earlier, yes, Spain also has trendy cafes. A lot of them have a hipster vibe, but it's all about the interior design, first of all. If we open up that conversation, in Spain, you don't really have a very well-designed infrastructure of cafes that are able to give competitive prices and very comfortable seatings. So here in South Korea, it's very different. You know, you can go to Anguk-dong here in the center of Seoul and have these Hanok-style cafes. As you can see on the screen, I really enjoy them. You can also have cafes with lovely gardens and waterfalls. You even have ocean-themed cafes, even ocean views in places like Pohang or Jeju Island. And here in the center of Seoul, we even have aquarium cafes. So as you can see, I am a cafe lover here in South Korea, and part of the reason is because of the diversity and the different amounts of aesthetics that you can find in this country. And that comes obviously with a high level of competition. If you don't have that infrastructure and that competitiveness in the whole aspect of this market, you're not able to find this diversity in different types of buildings.
I think that is one of the biggest differences. Many Korean cafes feel more like destinations than just coffee shops. And of course, social media seems to play a huge role in that popularity too. So what else, I guess, makes them so appealing, Melissa?
I'd say it's the unique variety of choices and the wow factor. I feel like in Korea, cafe menus change even faster than fashion seasons. We see menus such as chodang corn coffee, Dubai chocolate matcha lattes, and those thick cream lattes. And I'm always wondering, how do people even come up with all these ideas? And they're visually so high quality that you can't get away without taking a photo. And honestly, I think FOMO is in our DNA.
Right. Very relatable.
If something is trending, we're more than happy to wait in line for hours. The recent Dubai tree cookie craze is a perfect example of this. You guys all tried, right?
Yeah, it was lovely. So nice.
I know. And it's not just about the trendy spots. There's a huge small luxury trend where people are willing to spend nearly $100 for a luxury mango bingsu at high-end hotels. This mix of premium quality and FOMO is what attracts the people.
It's also something just about Korean cafes and desserts, they have the aesthetic that people really want, and so they can post it on social media as well.
Completely, yes.
Definitely.
So some of those drinks and desserts almost feel designed to go viral online. And as competition gets even fiercer, cafes and Korea seem to be constantly experimenting with new concepts and experiences. So to get a more in-depth perspective on this, we're going to talk to an expert from the cafe industry. And that conversation is coming up right after this break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out Channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Miran Oh, a coffee business consultant based in both LA and Korea. So hello Miran, thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So Miran, what makes Korean cafes stand out from cafes in other countries?
Korean cafe is not just selling coffee. They are selling a third space like visually studying and culturally immersive. So many cafes are designed like art gallery and film set. Like when you go to Seongsu area, they are converted to like a factory to a beautiful cafe, and also specifically catering to social media culture. So it is good for Instagramming aesthetic. Also, second, the Korean cafe also has diverse theme, as you guys mentioned before, such as from traditional Korean house. I usually, when I go to Korea, I really enjoy the traditional Korean coffee house, and also artificial waterfall and animal cafe. There's a lot of themes we have. Also, the size-wise, the coffee shop is very mega size. It's this diversity is different than other space. Also, Korean cafe is a socialized hub. There's a lot of younger generation. They are like apartment kids. They are looking for some private space. So cafes serve as the third space for studying and working and meeting friends and staying open late into the night.
Definitely, I do agree with that. How has Korea's cafe culture changed the coffee industry?
Oh, a lot. Korea has shifted the global perception of coffee from commodity to a lifestyle identity. So coffee have evolved into platform. They combine architecture, blending, brand storytelling, and curating music. So it's gonna be focusing the global industry to focusing more on space design. Also, the innovation in menu. Korea has popularized visual first. So dessert and drink, like many kinds of sogumpang, is very popular in LA. And dirty matcha, it's a mix of espresso with matcha. Which is often become global viral trend of social media. Also high quality and efficiency. There's a lot of coffee shop in Korea. So Korean market is so much competition. So it has led to high standard for specialty coffee bean and high efficiency service system. So it's very fast service, like a high speed service than the other people. So those are now being exported globally.
Sounds like a great evolution for the industry overall. And why are Korean cafes attracting more global customers recently? And what can they do to keep up that momentum?
Korea-style coffee are attracting global consumer through the K-wave, K-culture. So consumer in city, they're looking for some Korean cafe for their immersive themes and quiet individualism that offer a peaceful escape from the busy city life. Also, for maintaining moment, we need to continue integrating K content like music and fashion and beauty. That's increasing their value into the cafe experience. Also, second, we need to keep in mind sustainable and healthy. So market is mature. we need to incorporating ESG, E meaning environment as a social, and G is government. So environment-wise, we need to keep the how to use the reusable cup and how to we efficiently using the electronic. Also socialize. So how we to treat people and community. When I operating coffee shop in LA, I once a month I inviting um, the musician, artist, they're looking for some place. Also community, they want to enjoy the cafe vibe. So we did socialize. For governance, it focused on transparency, ethic, and proper paying to employee and charge to customer acceptable price, not too much asking tips. We have some issue with the tips in younger generation. So overall, Korean cafe culture is no longer just about coffee. It's about creating lifestyle and community. So by blending innovation with sustainability, I believe Korean cafe will continue to set new global standards for the third space experience.
Well, I hope a lot of cafe owners are listening because that was just some great sound business advice. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just spoke with a coffee business consultant about what makes Korean cafes stand out from those overseas, how this unique cafe culture has transformed the coffee industry, and why Korean-style cafes are increasingly attracting global consumers. And we also wanted to hear directly from our viewers. So we ran a poll on Yarenang's YouTube channel asking what kind of leisure activity would you want to experience? And here's what the results showed on this. So when asked about the biggest appeal of Korean cafes, more than half of respondents, 56%, chose their stylish and aesthetic spaces. Another 22% pointed to eye-catching coffee and desserts, while 15% said the wide variety of menu options was the main attraction. And friendly service ranked last at 8%. So it's interesting that atmosphere and design ranked even higher than the coffee itself. I think that really shows how cafes in Korea have evolved into lifestyle and experience-driven spaces. And cafes here also seem to be constantly reinventing themselves to match changing consumer trends and lifestyle. So what new trends, Fabio, are we seeing in Korean cafes recently?
Well, in Korean cafes, we are seeing a lot of people who are studying for hours and hours. And now this term for these people is 가공족 in Korean. And so there are a lot of cafes that are catering to this specific group by offering spaces where they can peacefully continue their work or their studies. And I have to admit that I'm a very frequent customer at one of those. And one of the biggest benefits is that you even have extra monitors to finish your work. You have a lot of plugs and very comfortable seating. So that is my favorite part about this new trend. And customization also becomes a big deal. So we have been seeing this for the longest time with drinks, especially coffee, but now people can even make their own custom-made cake in some specific cafes. So we are seeing how this customization trend is also expanding to things like dessert. And overall, I would also talk about the term itself. Here in South Korea, you would call it cafe. And so even with friends, I'm so used to just call it cafe that the term in English, cafe, also sounds a little bit weird to me.
Sounds a bit boring.
Even with my foreigner friends, when we speak in English, we're like, oh, let's go to that cafe over there. So I would say it's also even changing the way we communicate in the language.
Right, and all this shows how cafes are really becoming more personalized. And also, it's a space for work, hobbies, and even self-expression. And recently, some cafes are even creating spaces centered around emotional sharing and also anonymous storytelling. So what new cafes then are trending among specifically young women, Melissa?
There's this new fascinating trend hitting the 20-30 crowd, specifically women who make up about 80% of the buzz. People are actually using their precious annual leave and traveling from out of town to check out these dopamine text cafes. They're trending because they allow us to escape from short-form fatigue. Without even realizing it, we're getting burnt out from mindless scrolling, so we're turning to what we call text hip, finding the analog act of reading and writing cool and edgy. You could think of these cafes as an offline SNS. Instead of a digital feed, you have these themed notebooks that say my absolute worst dating story and a nightmare boss, topics that anyone can relate to. Because it's all anonymous, people find it so much easier to spill their secrets. And honestly, I feel like reading through these stories would be way more spicier than watching Singles Inferno.
Completely.
From a marketing perspective, it's brilliant. It turns passive consumers into active storytellers. In a world dominated by 15-second clips, these cafes prove that imagination triggered by text is still the ultimate dopamine hit.
You'll have to tell me where these cafes are. This sounds
know,
really
right?
interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the oversharing type of
Right.
theme cafe.
So Korea's coffee culture shows how a simple cup of coffee can really become a full lifestyle experience. From stunning interiors to creative menus and ever-evolving concepts, Korean cafes continue to set trends both at home and abroad. And as Korean culture also spreads around the world, Korean cafes are clearly going to be the next everyday phenomenon to win global fans. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. My News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. Big thanks to Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
for coming in. Also Fabio.
Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. Maybe this will inspire you to get yourself the Korean Cafe Espresso. We are
News Generation.